Undocumented families will soon learn the fate of a program that has kept many of them together over the last 5 years. President Trump is expected to announce the future of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or DACA.
Leaders in several immigration rights groups say things do not look as promising as they once did. But as CBS 13's Carlos Correa shows us, local groups are working around the clock to try to keep DACA alive.
Yeah, volunteers are walking up and down the streets in predominantly Hispanic neighborhoods, gathering input and educating families about what's happening to the DACA program. Jessica Cabrera Carmona is one of the nearly 800,000 young undocumented individuals facing deportation if President Donald Trump decides to end the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, also known as DACA.
A lot of us who are undocumented come here due to the displacement we have faced in our country, so that's a reason we definitely came to the U.S.
Immigration rights groups coast to coast are now making a last-minute effort to save the program that's kept so many young people living and working in the U.S. legally.
I think DACA is not the beginning nor the end. I think I am surrounded by a lot of community leaders who are very supportive, but also we're ready to fight.
Opponents of the program praise the possibility of the Trump administration pulling the plug, but advocates aren't going out without a fight.
This is really when we need to act. We need to get in touch with our members of Congress.
Community groups in the Central Valley are canvassing several neighborhoods, doing everything they can to educate families about the possible change in policy and what it would mean to them.
It's devastating, not just because, the people that are currently working and, going to school with their DACA permit, they won't be able to work.
It's not clear when or how the Trump administration plans to implement changes to DACA, but whatever happens, immigration rights advocates say they will continue to fight to keep families together.
So what we're telling people is, to keep calm, to not, to spread actual news, not rumors. And from what we heard yesterday, it's not official. The announcement, it's not official until we have an announcement from our president.
And community groups are planning to gather in downtown Stockton Tuesday morning for a Stand Up for DACA rally.
Well, we are expecting the official announcement tomorrow. Carlos, thanks so much.